Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is for you. I'm Cyclone. It's time for our Let's Play Train Simulator Classic. Well, we're going to do scenario number 8 today. This is the one called In a Hurry, an evening passenger service from London King's Cross to Peterborough, joining at Biggleswade. I'm going to tell you a little secret here. I already tried running this scenario, and I know that the first guy on my list here is not one to cheat on scenarios, the one who has 1,000 up there. But I think there was changes in the game mechanics between the original version of the scenario and the one I'm running now, because it turns out I just gave this a try, and the very first stop you're not able to make it on time. At least I wasn't able to, going at level 4 throttle all the way. So I think game mechanics changed the possibility of this being an achievable scenario. As a result, I have modified the points per stop to ensure that we are able to pull off the 1,000 points with minimal, as long as we keep a minimal late profile, a minimalist late profile. So you're going to see what I mean when we get going. I haven't done anything beyond the first stop at St. Neots yet, so I haven't gone beyond St. Neots. So we're going to see together how bad this scenario can get in terms of timings. All I know is the first one is bad, and as soon as I see that, that's enough to change the scenario. So I have made changes. Keep that in mind. All I did was change the scoring. That's it. So let's get started and let's see how this scenario operates other than that. So before we go anywhere in this scenario, I want to show you something on the editor. We are going to get back into the scenario itself in just a moment. I just want to point out, first of all, these timings, I'm going to bring up St. Neots right now. These timings are absolutely impossible. They cannot be done. I've even tried using an Armstrong Powerhouse 365, but because it has a faster speed limit, but it takes more time to get up to that speed limit. And I think my best result with that model was even a 33-second lateness. So the best thing to do in a scenario like this is to actually edit the timings. Now, I've cloned the scenario right now. I'm going to be doing my thing to move it back into place for the other one later. But I'm going to show a couple of things here. It is set for 95%, which is what I would expect to see. It's just that the time is not set well at all. Let's set this to 54, for example. It still says it's possible. Let's move it back to by half a minute and see what happens. And now it's saying it's not possible. So it's just so close. Let's try 10 seconds. Oh, that's actually the exact time I had before. So try 10 seconds. Still possible. So yeah, and now 20 seconds. So as you can see, it is very, very close to being impossible. And that is just not a very good way to do the scenario, in my opinion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it back to the 55 seconds. Or is that 66 I hit? I hit 66. So I'm going to change this to a 45. Actually, I'm going to make it 46 even, because I think that's a better way to do it. That way it gives the player a little bit of time in case they have a problem bringing their train up to speed. So as you can see, when I get out of that, all of a sudden this is now late. So we need to change it. And by the way, they were all bad. So no matter what you did, they were all bad. So changing this to a 51 is technically enough, but it's probably not going to do the job. I will change to a 52 even, and we're going to go from that. So 52 even. And just, again, keep in mind, 0-0 is the best way to end a time, because you get a whole minute to do what you need to do here. So 20, this is now impossible, of course. Now, this was already a timing where you were absolutely messed up late. I don't know why, but you were. So change that to 27. Technically, it's enough. I'm going to try changing it to an 8. We're going to add a 0-0, and we're going to call it a day, and we're going to see if that works. Now, this still may not work perfectly. I'm just trying to do something that works here. So let's go ahead and get out of that. We're going to save the scenario, and I'll see you inside. Good evening, driver. We joined this service from London King's Cross to Peterborough via Biggleswade, St. Neots, and Huntingdon. It's a tight timetable, so ensure you stick to your schedule rigidly. Ensure to collect passengers from Biggleswade before departing from the station. You mean they were not collected before when the other driver handed over to me? Why would they not open the doors? You're just making me late, guys. Come on. And I'm actually being serious. They were making us late. Now, before I actually close this box, a couple things I'm going to point out. First of all, there is a nice red driver monitor appliance I need to turn off because we have a green signal, and that's not going to change. Second thing is you're going to notice that full service brake is now a step 3 brake, and all brakes are now orange, so there's no indication of color anymore where you're in a full service brake. I do not know about emergency because I'm not going to use that. And third, when the train loads, it's loaded as a driver operated doors. You have to hit U and O to open the correct doors depending on where the platform is. The other option is to set it as a guard operation, which is what the train usually is in these scenarios. I'm going to replicate the scenario and make it a guard operated door. Now, you did see in the editor that I did change the timings. I did go ahead and put this scenario over the official scenario. And we're going to go ahead and treat it as the official scenario because I don't want to keep a second copy of the scenario in my list, basically, is what I'm getting at. So we are going to go ahead and use that. The second copy of the scenario is going to be when I put this version on the workshop with the Armstrong Powerhouse Class 365 in it. So I will put this on with the 365 from AP on the driver train. I have not changed the other trains. Of course, you are welcome to do that, including with the HST on your own, should you wish to, and should you care to drive these scenarios. If it does work perfectly, I may even make a standard version available for those who want that. But let's go ahead and get started. First thing and also I'm going to use the master key for Shift W because it is necessary to get the train started. So I'm going to do these things in an order that I feel works for getting everything set up properly and ready to go in as efficiently a manner as possible. So first thing, I need to get the doors open, so guard operation is first. Here we go. So guard operation. They're now operating the doors. We're going to turn the DRA off. We're going to put the master key in, which should have been in already technically. Now you can't push up. You have to push down to get into a position where the reverser is on. Down again makes it neutral, and then you go to reverse. So you also have to hit numpad enter to turn off the driver vigilance. Even if it's isolated, it's just going to beep at you constantly if you don't do anything about it. Headlights, instrument lights. I think that's about it. We just have to be ready to respond to the guard later, and that's the last thing we need to worry about. So we're just going to wait for the, I love the way that starts. We're just going to wait for the doors to be closed here. Tail lights need to go off. I forgot about the tail lights, so that's now fixed. So the doors are going to close. We're going to respond to the guard when they're ready. And that's done. So I'm going to move to a notch 2 because I should be able to do notch 2. If you try to go straight to a notch 4 throttle, the train will basically cough every couple miles as it's speeding up. So you're basically being penalized for putting too much power in the engine right away. The real train does this. Well, it did because it doesn't exist anymore. But real trains in general do this type of thing. So you have to notice the power being fed to the engine is very, very high on that area to the left of the speedometer. So that is so high that I can't move to a higher notch throttle or it will choke. Now it's starting to go down, so I'm going to go to notch 4, and we're going to go ahead and put full power in. There are no additional notches, so it's just going to balance itself out from here on, but it will no longer choke. So the choking possibility is gone. So we've now made for a situation that is most to our benefit in terms of trying to complete the scenario on time. We're going to find out if it works. So like I said, I have played this, or if I didn't say it, I'm going to say it now. I have played this scenario already, whistleboard. But the problem is that none of the timings could be made on time. Every single timing, you basically are late. The last one might be doable, but if it is doable, it's only just doable. Because you actually, if you show up a minute and a half early, I think it was something like a minute and a half early on my recording, you actually are still marked as late. So it can only just be makeable if it's even makeable. The other two are absolutely impossible. There is no way. So I already know that. I'm not even going to try to act like it's good in the form that was released in. It's not going to be fixed by DTG because it's 9 years old. There's no way they're going to fix it at this point. At least I think it's 9 years old. It might be 7 or 8, but still pretty old when you compare to things like the Taurus Mountains that are now out and announced and out. Definitely old compared to something like that. Definitely old compared to Suburban Glasgow, which was 2020, the year I started. Definitely old compared to Mitten Waldbahn, which I just played, 2017. So yeah, you're not going to see this fixed. We have to fix them ourselves, basically, and put them in the workshop so other people can enjoy them. That's basically up to us to do now. We're fixing the broken scenarios. Hopefully someday we can actually DTG can actually find a way to allow easy fixes like this into their DLC, because all we're doing is changing a scenario file. They will be able to put it back they would be able to fix it on the editor side, on the official side, and publish it. But it seems like an easy thing. Have it tested by people who already volunteer, and that seems easy enough to me. I don't know why that's so hard. But I'm sure that's something that would have to be worked out with management, and it's something that management would have to approve to do before it can be done. But I can certainly say the old DLC would be fixed very, very easily by this. Of course, I can't use the Armstrong model. If I were to submit this fix, I would have to put the regular model back in. But it is something that can be done, and I just wish it was possible to do that. But what can you do? We can fix it, we can enjoy it, and we can hack it into place. So we can get our score anyway, or get our check mark if it's a standard scenario. And who cares? Now I should note, because, and I'm not going to be saying anything about this during Scenario 9 because I hadn't actually decided by then, but I have actually been looking at some other content to record, and I know I mentioned talking about holiday content in the past. I do actually have something in mind now, and I kind of waffle on this a little bit. I see me and my UK terms, because I'm not from the UK, I'm getting the UK terms. I'm waffling a little bit about, I think it's a UK term, waffling on what I want to do for holiday type stuff. I want to do something on the Friday and Saturday, because that's the 23rd and 24th, but I don't know to what extent I'm going to do that yet. I may just do one in the end. But I do want to reserve that Friday and Saturday as a for Christmas stuff if possible. I kind of want to take the next week off, and by taking it off, I'm thinking even just watching trains. I already had a week off in September when I had COVID, and I didn't feel like doing a darn thing, editing or playing. So I basically already took my week off, and I'm thinking of trying to get some rail fans out for Christmas week, so at least they're done, because I haven't done them yet. 3 routes, 3 countries, and that is something I am looking at as a possibility. So I'm going to see if I can research the stock in those scenarios, in where they go and all that, so I can give you a good storyline about that. And 60 minutes, I can have all 3 scenarios played, so it's not that bad. It's just a matter of editing them, the videos afterwards, that is, not the scenarios. And that's where the work really comes in, because I'll be merging 3 videos into one single product of 35-40 minutes in length, depending on the length of the scenarios, of course. And that's where the work really comes in. But it's, again, I can have all 3 sets played in one day, because it's like an hour, hour and a half at most, when you count some additional research. And then it's just a matter of editing them, which is really the hard part. Trying to make sure they edit in the right order and things like that, and you get the right transitions and any text for things that you missed talking about, which randomly appear on the screen, like something that I may or may not put on the screen right now to respond to this. So you can see St. Neots coming up right here. I need to slow down because I am at full speed. I'm at 118 miles per hour. So slowing down is urgently necessary at this stage. Step 1 brake is going to do the job for right now, because I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down at a pace that is slow enough that I'm still going to get really, really close to the station really fast. Right now I'm only at the top speed for the original version of the train, so I didn't really lose anything in that regard. But now I am lowering that speed, and I am definitely going to need a heavier brake application as I get closer. So I'm going to be moving to a step 2 brake momentarily. Now's a good time to do that, I think. In fact, I'm going to go to a full service brake because I'm coming in way too fast, even for what I was trying to do. Okay, ease it back for a second because I'm now around the right pace. And I'm going to go ahead and keep step 3 on for the rest of my stop now. So I should not be stopping too far along. I will stop before the end of the platform for sure. I'm a little further along than I expected, but not bad. Still not bad. It is acceptable. And based on my new timings, I arrived on time at 21:46. Arrival at St. Neots. leaving St. Neots. Our next stop will be Huntingdon, as indicated in the scenario opening briefing there. Getting up to a level 3 throttle. We're going in as soon as we get to 15 again, so there we are. So we're trying again to make sure the train doesn't choke. That's all we're doing. We are 7 miles away from Huntingdon. We may not get to the 118 in time to have to slow down again, but we will find out if we do. I can go to notch 4 now, so let's do that. There are no additional notches above notch 4. It is the final notch, regardless of the version of the train you're using. The train only has 4 notches. You can't go any additional notches. It wouldn't make sense to have them. So we don't have them. And it is notched. It is not graduated. It is notched. Now notice the 120 up ahead. That should help with the timing a little bit. Only by about 5 miles. Doesn't really help much. So, yeah. But if we were to get to 118, we would be very close to the speed limit there. That would actually be very convenient for us if we can pull that off. Compared to 102 and a 120, which... Now the time we need to arrive is by 21:52, and that is even based on my new timings, because the departure time naturally is based on when we arrive, on when we're supposed to leave. I may not have put enough time in for this new time, so we're gonna find out if I still screwed up. If I did still screw up, I may have to make another adjustment to the scenario before I actually put it in the workshop. I'm not gonna keep this clone version over the original like I usually like I have it right now. I don't keep those unless there's a good reason to, but such as, you know, giving it some DG and saying, hey, fix this, it's horribly bad, it's broken, in which case I would keep it there and try and make sure they see it, but which is easier said than done. But in the very least, I will at least keep my cloned version. I'll re-clone it after I'm done playing it. I'll make any changes I need to make, and then I'll just put it out. So there might be a text change somewhere or something like that. For example, changing the title to say edit. That's a text change. So there's a 125 coming up. There goes my fantasy on being 118 and a 120. Oh well. So we're coming up on 3 miles from Huntingdon. We're only at 105, so yeah, it looks like we're not going to get to 118 as I forecast. I forecast we're not going to get to 118. It was just too short of a distance to get to that speed, and the amount of time it would take the train to get there. So it's not a quick climbing train, and we knew this already. We knew this train doesn't get up to speed quickly. I think even the Voyager I don't think does, but if you have an electric train like the BR442 over in Germany, oh boy does that thing get up to speed in a hurry. You're at 100 before you can say the word knife. I have to slow down. I see a yellow up ahead. That is a double yellow. There is a red at the end of the platform. I cannot mess this up. If I overshoot, I am in trouble. But I have to get down to 40 before the platform anyway, so it's going to take a little while to get there. But we're definitely not entering the platform at 50 this time. I think it's a smaller platform, too. I'm actually coming down way too slow here. Oh no, I want to get to 40. Never mind, I'm on the right pace. I want to get to 40. So I've responded to the alerter a second time. This is a diversionary track. I need to get down to 40, so I'm going to go full brake now. I almost didn't do that right. But we were down in time. Barely. Since I need to probably drop another notch or two in the decimal in order to ensure we're in the exact right spot. But it is still going down, so we're happy with that. And that is the reason why we have a little bit of a challenge with our current arrival time. Let's see if I actually did estimate correctly, or if I'm going to be dinged for being late again. A valid question. The red is still at the end of the platform, so I do need to get this train down to a... No, actually, no, I think it is a green now. Because we were doing... The signal was for diversion. Now, it was a static double yellow and a diversion signal in that order. That's not normal. I don't think that's how it's supposed to work even on this line nowadays. But in any case, arrival at Huntingdon platform number 3. I tried to respond exactly as it was given to me. The guard has confirmed we can head to Peterborough, so leaving Huntingdon, our next stop is Peterborough. That is a good 17.5 miles away. We're going to get to go 118 or maybe at least 105 or 115 in places. So there's a good chance we're going to get to our speed limit on this one. In fact, if we don't, there's a serious problem. Right now, our ETA has us shown as being early, but I'm a little nervous about that because the original ETA showed us as being early and we were marked late. Take it with a grain of salt. I tried to make it... I tried what I could, but there might be something there making it treat you as being late. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Well, I didn't go to notch 4 yet. I should do that. The good news is this is the last stop, so if it does mark me as late, at least I know I'm going to be able to adjust it by a certain amount to meet that. And then you should be able to play it at that point. Even in standard mode. This test also does apply for standard mode, because if I can't make the stop without being late, you would fail in standard mode. I can't do anything to speed in this case. Well, technically I could, but it wouldn't be wise to play it like that. Oh, there's an 80 we're in now. What happened here? I did not even see that we're in an 80, because we're on the slow line. That's why. We're on the slow line. So we have to be satisfied with 80 for the time being. That is unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. We're going to have to probably go down to a 70 or a 40 somewhere to transition over later, too, if we need to. Oh, well. The fast movement was fun while it lasted. I enjoyed going fast. It was fun. Can't do that in America. Not unless you have signals in the cab. In the UK, you only have to be 160 to pull that off in kilometers, but on a high-speed line where you can go 225 in kilometers, even I think there's a 300 somewhere too. But I don't know the UK lines that well. I'm curious about HS2 when it opens and whether DTG will be able to hop on that one for a route. That will be interesting. It would be cool to see a route where a proposed station still in development is actually built in the game. That's something I would love to see. So if there's a way to for them to be able to do a route where they can actually get plans for like 1 or 2 new stations and say, okay, we're going to release this at the same time the station's open, and you can say you can also see the stations in game. It'd be a neat little promotional thing, I think, for the even in the game environment. It'd be a cool little promotion thing for the new route to be able to see it in fully developed in the game before it even opens. I know that I suggested the Trillium line in Ottawa, Ontario, and they had plans to do renovations on that before COVID started, and then COVID hit, so it gave them a good reason to close the line down and start those renovations, and they were going to do it anyway, but it really helped them. So that and the Confederation line, which is nearby, they both use the Bayview station. They don't intersect; they don't join each other. It's kind of a shame that the track isn't built to connect there, because it'd be a nice way to have an extended service or alternate service patterns. But they have the two lines separate. And I think because one of them uses the PZB signaling, the German signaling, and the other one doesn't, so they wouldn't be able to merge them anyway. But I did suggest that area, and it would be a nice little, a short little route. It wouldn't be a full price route. It would be a little short route, a pair of short routes. And I think something like that in Train SimRoad would actually be really good, because you can then walk across Bayview, go to the other set of trains, and you're good to go. You get both sets of trains. You go to Bayview, they intersect the trains, and get your next job on the other lines. So you could travel both lines at will in a game environment then. That'd be kind of fun. Then at Ottawa Station on the Confederation line, head over to the Via line and go on the Via line for a little ways. You won't be able to do much because you're only going to see one or two stations at most, if you even go that far, but it'd be fun to do that. Be able to transition the lines like that. So I lowered you saw that I moved the throttle to a blue position. That was a neutral position, because I wanted to make sure that I didn't exceed 80 miles per hour. And you can see I've made up a good chunk of time. I'm now at 22:07:20, which is 40 seconds early technically, but like I said, I need to make sure I get as much time as I can on that, because otherwise there's a good chance I could still be marked late. So I need to get more time off of that. Now, if I was going a mile a minute, I would say that I'd be there in 11 minutes, which means I'd be very late. So I think the extra speed at 80, if I can maintain that, would allow me to every 3 miles or every 3 minutes go an extra mile. I think it's 4 miles for every 3 minutes right now, or something like that. I would have to do the exact math on that. Actually, that's absolutely correct. I'd be going 4 miles in 3 minutes here. I do have that correct. I just thought about it in my head very quickly. Math on video, ladies and gentlemen. It is hard, but I can do it. Math is a thing for me. It is a strength. So if I'm going 4 miles every minute, that means I'm going to be 2 miles to go in 6 minutes at 21:05. Yeah, that's a good estimate, 21:07. It is a good estimate. Of course, I don't have to tell the game that, but I just did. Red on the high-speed line, green on my line. And once again, we are moving our decimal up a little bit. I'm going to move the throttle down for just a moment. You can see we have a 70 coming up anyway, so it's good that we're going to have to drop the throttle down and merge over to the high-speed line. And we're going to have even better timings in a moment, because we're going to get to 1:05 based on that third sign you see up ahead. So that's going to be well worth getting down 70 for a moment. We're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to have a 100 later on as well, I recall. That 100 will, I think there's a 100 after the 105. I don't think it goes straight to 105 from Peterborough. But, yeah, nonetheless, I know we're going to eventually hit a 25 as we get towards Peterborough. And that's station entry, basically. So that's the end of the journey. I'm trying to let the train throttle down here. But I'm going to have to hit the brakes. I have no choice. Is that a yellow? No, it's still a green. We still have a green. Okay. I guess we have no other choice of where to go. We get a green automatically. So we rejoin the high-speed line, I think. Yep, there's the high speed line. It had to be because we're going faster speeds in a second. And crank it. I'm going to go to notch 3 for now to make sure I'm increasing speed. Then I'll move it back to notch 4. And there's that 100 I knew was coming up. Now, in the amount of distance we have left, I don't think we're going to get to 118, even if we were allowed to, but I don't think we have another area above 100 the rest of the way. So 100 is probably where we're going to cap out. That is where we're going to end our adventure into high speeds. 90 miles per hour is basically 3 miles every 2 minutes. So we're going to be going faster than that for a little while. Oh, there is a 115 there. Sorry, 115. But we will be able to speed to 108 in that, so we have to be careful. Or 118 by 3 miles. We will have to be careful. The good news is I don't think we're going to break 100 by the time we get to the 125 sign, so we should be able to move up to our faster speed very, very shortly. I'm extremely hopeful that my timings work out here for this last timing. I want this to work out. I am going to break 100. I need to bring the throttle down. I have done that. I might have been safe, but I don't like taking that chance. So now I can move it back up because we're hitting a 115. I think we're going to stop it at 114 just to be safe. We'll take a notch off when I get to 110. But the amount of distance we have left, we might not even get to 110. Or we won't be there very long anyway. We're going to have to go down to 25. Yeah, there's the 105. That's coming up. We're going to have to bring it down immediately. So this 125 is basically for trains that are capable of doing it quickly, which I presume the HST is. I heard a little pause in the audio there. I don't know if you caught that on the video or not. You probably would have because it's capturing my screen. I didn't catch if the video also went still, but so I move the throttle to a neutral position. I'm going to have to hit the brakes a little bit here. Show me 105, please. There it is. And we're going to hit the brakes anyway. We've got a 30 coming up, and a 25, and a 30. Or it's a 50, sorry, at the end. So yeah, we're coming to the end of our journey. That's basically what I'm trying to point out here. We're going to have a run at the end of the Peterborough platform. There's no way we're going to be allowed to continue, so I'm not even going to suggest that we are. I need to start bringing that speed down, so step 1 brake. And I'm going to probably go to a step 2 brake very quickly, actually. Let's do a step 2 brake. That makes more sense. I can upgrade that to a step 3 brake as necessary. You can't even read the number for the amount of distance before you get to that speed sign, which is extremely unfortunate. Now you notice I went down to a step 1 brake because I was coming in a little too slowly in my judgment. I would have been down to 30 a little early there. So back to a step 1 brake. I have to get to 25 though, so I don't want to be too casual. Now that I'm going to make the 30, I don't want to be too casual. I am under the 30. A little early actually, in hindsight. So I'm going to push to the 25. There it is. 25 it is. So we are all set for that. All we have to do now is make our stop. Nice, lovely bridge as we enter Peterborough. And there's a train over there. Now again, the only train that I changed was my train. Now the other trains have been modified, so it's just my train that's been changed. Let's go ahead and make our stop. I'm going to do a step 3 break right here because there's no reason not to. I want to lock it a full minute early if I can. And look out the window there, and we have a nice, lovely scenic picture there. Doors are open at Peterborough. Let's see what happens. Well, the first thing that happens is this train is taking off. That's the first really important thing. I think he needed our track. I think that was the idea. So he's going to continue off. That is an HST, it looks like. I recognize the curved back door of the cab there, or the curved window, I should say, and design of the cab. So that is definitely an HST. And we're just left over there on the left. Left on the left. Waiting for permission to complete our journey. Doors were open. I thought they were open, so I pushed it again just to be sure. So all we have to do now is wait for the scenario to complete, and we're done. And we're going to see if this is workshop ready. And if it is, you're going to see it in the workshop. So there you go. Well done. That was a success. I always stumble on that. Well done. That was a successful drive. Say that 5 times fast, you will stumble on it too. Let's get to the score. Good enough. That's 1,000. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is ready for workshop prime time here, and I am now happy I did that because now I can put this AP Class 365 scenario in the workshop, and there are probably going to be people who are absolutely gobsmacked at the fact that I put this in the workshop. Don't mind the increase in my score, by the way. I've been playing some other scenarios, getting some more content ready. I'm not going to spoil it for right now, other than to say there's a US route involved. That's all. So get your guesses in. I'm not going to talk about that in the next video either because I don't know if I'm decided. I think actually I might give a mention of a route in the next video, but I don't know if I confirm it. I don't remember offhand if I confirm it, and I'm going to be editing that video later, so I can't really tell you right now because I have to edit that video. So yeah, I already had the 1,000 here because I basically edited the scoring on the first run, but then I decided, you know what, that's not a good way to do a video because then you're seeing all the lateness penalties and you're showing how broken it is. So the best thing I could do, I decided, was show one that works, and I'm showing one that works. So there you go. Don't play the original one if you're looking for perfect scores. It won't happen. Replace it with this one. You're going to be good to go. In the meantime, and if you do decide to replace it, remember, download it directly. Don't actually let the workshop tag it, or the official scenario will show up on the workplace tab. Keep that in mind too. In any case, I'm all set with this video. Next time we are doing the final video, which is going to be a full run from Peterborough to London King's Cross. Lots of stops, and I got another surprise in store for you on that one as well. So you think you're going to like that one as well. First thing I'll point out, by the way, is that the icon has changed for the 365. You'll notice at the start of this video, the other icon is showing up for the default model. This is the AP model that's in the screenshot. So there you go. Keep that in mind when we start the next video. I say nothing else. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I will see you next time for that video. If you are on the playlist and you like the fact that I drove this AP train, please come back for the next scenario. And I think you're going to enjoy that video a lot too. It's going to be a long one, but it's going to be fun. In the meantime, have a wonderful day, evening, or night, and I will see you for that video in 3, 2, 1.